Howdy everyone, old Gare out here at the Fishing Shack, and welcome to this week's Fishing Chums Fishing Report. Woo! I'm taping this thing on Thursday, and tomorrow, which you're going to be watching this now, it's windy, it's cold, it's miserable. Yikes, that time of the year, I guess. But today, on Thursday, it's windy and a little bit of rain, and oh well, we'll put up with it. But anyway, we have some good fishing reports for you the last few days. My pick lake of the week is going to be out at Stockton. Boy, good bass fishing out there. Also some very good crappie fishing. Good crappie fishing at Truman. And I want to tell you, Beaver Lake has been doing good. In fact, our photo of the week is going to be coming out from Beaver. And good bass fishing out there. Some crappie, looks good. Fair bass fishing out at Table Rock and Bull Shoals. Fair trout fishing. So we have a lot to talk about. So let's go fishing.
Fish and Chums!
Okay, we have some good reports. My golly, we're going to start off out at Beaver. Before we do this, though, I want to thank the thousands of viewers that were with us last week. And God bless you. We have great views over on Facebook and over on YouTube. Thank you very much. All right, let's go out to Beaver Lake. Our photo of the week's coming from Beaver. This was caught yesterday by Preston Oswald. Look at this bass, over 7 pounds yesterday at Beaver Lake. Preston, you are our photo of the week. God bless you, man. What a beautiful, beautiful fish. Woo, boy, I like that. And I'm telling you, a lot of bass being caught at Beaver right now. Been picking up fish on a variety of baits, some topwater action back into the big feeder arms, the coves. There's a lot of shad back there. This is producing some good fishing, and we've had reports of square-bill crankbaits. We've had reports of swim baits, had reports of jig and plastics, pitching jigs, slow-rolling spinner baits. Boy, I'm telling you, Beaver Lake is producing some really good bass fishing right now. And once again, good going, Preston. Other than that, the crappie fishing just continuing, going on that fall pattern. Back midway, back in the creek arms, look for your shad, your bait, and get down there and fish some of the pole timber and brush in about 15 to 20 feet of water. Jig and minnows seems to be the best. And we've had some reports out on the main lake, and some fish are being caught as well. A few walleye are being caught down at the lower end. If you want to troll some flicker shads this weekend, not much to report on, but there's been a couple reported. And down below the dam, it'd be a good place to take the kids this weekend and try some trout fishing. That all looks good out at Beaver. Okay, Rock, Table Rock. My gosh, the bass fishing's been good out there. You know, you have to work for them. It's not easy, but there's been a really nice smallmouths are being caught at Table Rock right now. That water temperature this morning was 78 degrees. And look at Greg Harrison talking about a smallmouth. This is a pig. Greg, that's a great smallmouth. That's really a big smallmouth. And that was caught just a few days ago out at Table Rock. And Ron Freeman was out, I think yesterday, and picked up this nice smallmouth. Boy, the smallies are moving at Table Rock. Go get them, guys. Hopefully it'll be good this weekend. Now, what they're doing is a variety of baits, but I'm telling you, the Ned rig. The Ned rig is good right now. Get out there and about, in the mornings they're shallower. Get up on those long gravel points and use that Ned rig in about 12, 14, 15 feet of water. And I'm telling you, that's a good bait. I know you're going to catch fish on the Ned rig. Then if the sun comes out like it could this weekend, move out a little bit deeper, and you may want to go to the drop shot. Go to the drop shots. But they've been picking up swimming jigs, and not so much the big football jigs this week. I've had a report of like an 1/8 or a 1/4 ounce round ball-headed jig with light dressing, plastics, and they've been pitching that up and just swimming it, catching fish. And they're using this bait around some of the docks as well. And they've been going up in the creek arms. I'm telling you, that fall pattern is at Table Rock. A lot of shad are moving back into the back end of the pockets and the creek arms. And just find that shad. You can use some I've had a good report of a popar this week. popper topwater. That's good. Had another report, a fellow caught a couple nice ones on just barely turning a buzz bait, spinner baits, and square-billed crankbaits. All these baits are working out at Table Rock. Now, you have to work at them. You're not going to go out there and have quick fishing, but I'm telling you, some just like Greg and Ron, boy, beautiful, beautiful smallmouth are being caught out there, along with some, of course, some spots as well, once in a while largemouth. Okay, we have just a limited report on walleye this week. Talked with a guy that was fishing a square-billed crankbait off of a point up the James River. Picked up a 19-incher a couple of days ago. I had a couple of reports up in the White River Arm trolling flicker shads, and it seemed like that shad colored with the chartreuse is working in about 15 feet of water. The crappie fishing, there's some crappie been caught back up in some of the feeder arms. Some of the feeder arms a little dirty due to the fact that recent rains. Find that clear water or kind of a mixture and get down around 15 feet of water around the brush or pole timbers, jig and minnow. You can perhaps catch some crappie out at Table Rock this weekend. A few crappie are being caught around some of the docks. And also, once again, up in the James River in that Cape Fear area, those old boys that know where those brush piles are, they're getting out there in about 15, 20 feet of water jigging minnows. That could pay off. So Table Rock looks good for the weekend. Hey, we want to do something different over at Lake Taneycomo. Gosh, it's been kind of low out there. The water has been down. But when they are running water, they have been drift fishing. Once again, the night crawlers. You don't want a big old night crawler. You want to take a nice sized night crawler, maybe use a third or a half of it. And as I mentioned on last week's program, it's a very simple way of fishing when they're running water drifting. You get out there with a small crappie hook and just put a split shot up above it, about 7 inches or so. And you don't want a heavy split shot. You want something that will just bounce off that bottom. Because if you get too heavy a split shot, it's going to get hung up in those rocks and you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be losing your bait. But if you get a split shot that just kind of bounces off that with that little half night crawler and that small hook, I know you're going to get bit without a doubt. When they're not running water, they've been using small jigs. It seems like cinnamon's been a good color this week, and also brown. And they're using the Berkeley trout worm, that trout worm, pink, and they're using it wacky style. We mentioned this the last 2 or 3 weeks on the program, and using a strike indicator about 4 or 5 feet up above it, flipping that out wacky style, letting that worm go down, work it real slow. They're picking up trout using this as well. Hey, you don't hear too much about this, but got a nice note from Derek Marlin the other day. He was night fishing, and this is a big sport here in the Ozarks, and bow fishing at night. And boy, he said he's been seeing a lot of 10 to 15 pound carp, and he run across something different the other night. Look at this golden mirror koi. Look at this. You don't see this very often. This was taken out at Lake Taneycomo. Beautiful fish. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Yeah, golden mirror koi. We don't see this very much. Thank you very much, Derek. All right, bull shoals, about the same story. The bass are starting to move to the fall patterns more all the time. They're still picking up some bass out there on the humps and sunken islands. They're getting off the points and secondary points. They're finding shad. They were deep, 30, 35 feet of water, but the shad are coming up shallower, 15 to 20 feet. And they're using a variety of baits. They're swimming jigs. They're using swim baits. I've had reports of square-billed crankbaits, and they're using some a little bit deeper. They're using some drop shots. And don't overlook the Ned rig out at Bull Shoals this weekend. A lot of shad are starting to move back in the pockets and the feeder creeks. Here you may want to go with some topwater, maybe a little topwater fishing like a popper. And they've been picking up some fish slow rolling spinner baits out there, and again square-billed crankbait. So bass fishing could be good this weekend at Bull Shoals. Few walleye are being caught. They've been using bottom bouncers at the lower end on the points and secondary points. Walleye moved up a little bit with the cooler weather, and they've been picking up these fish on bottom bouncers with a leader, a little spinner, and a half a night crawler. Other people have been trolling flicker shads or flicker minnows. Other people are just using an 1/8 ounce jig with a half a night crawler, occasionally picking up a nice walleye out at Bull Shoals. Okay, Stockton, my pick lake of the week. Gosh darn, I've had a lot of reports of good crappie and bass fishing out there the last few days. A lot of nice crappie being caught. But I'm telling you, the bass fishing has really been good. A few days ago, Mike Chambers was out. Look at these nice bass he caught. But Mike said he caught over 25 bass. 15 of them were over keepers, 15 inches. Boy, that's a good day's fishing out there. And he said they were still biting when he left. And also, Stephen Reynolds and Gary Patterson was out the other day, just a couple days ago, and picked up these nice bass. And so I'm telling you, the bass fishing's on fire out at Stockton Lake right now. You need to get out there, and they're catching them on a variety of baits. So get out and try that Stockton bass fishing. The crappie fishing's been good. You know, the Tandem Fly Outfitters, great guide service out there. Look at these fish that they caught yesterday out at Stockton. And this has been going on all week. Some good reports. No, not maybe even great reports of crappie being caught. We've had reports of up in the river arms. We've had reports on some of the flats, but most of them around some of the brush in about 15, 20 feet of water. Jig and minnow combination. Some people are using jigs. And boy, some good fishing out at Stockton, without a doubt. Okay, had other reports too. We've had some fair reports of white bass at times being caught at Stockton, but the bass and crappie are on fire. Okay, let's go out at Pawnee. The water temperature out there is pretty well just like Stockton. It was 77 this morning, so that's dropping. And it'll even drop further this week because it's going to be cool and even cold. Pawnee, they've been picking up some fish in shallow water. Don't overlook that shallow water. We had another report yesterday of crappie being caught in 6 to 8, 10, 12 feet of water. And so look this over, and other reports in the brush piles and a few around some of the docks. And hey, another report I had at Pawnee, the big muskies are moving a little bit now. They're starting to move. I had 2 reports yesterday, the day before. 2 nice fish were caught, slow rolling big spinner baits. And so the muskies are starting to move. About time out there for that. Truman Lake, my gosh, the crappie fishing has been good. You know, at times they're struggling on numbers, but boy, when they get into them, they're catching quality fish, really nice fish. In fact, look at this nice photo of Alan Palmer was out the other day. Look at these nice crappie. Beautiful, beautiful fish. And they're catching these crappie on a variety of ways. They're going out the old tree rows, you know, the hedgerows, the dead hedgerows coming out. Sometimes these fish are in 6 to 8 feet of water in the morning hours and getting deeper to 12 to 14 feet. And that's good. Jig and minnow combination. They're still picking up some fish on the cedar trees out there. And they've been really picking up some nice fish on the pole timbers at times. So crappie fishing, really, for quality fish, really, Truman is good. And the bass fishing continues to be pretty good. They're in that fall pattern. As I mentioned on last week, up in that Bucksaw area, I've had several reports, slow rolling spinner baits. I've had reports of square billed or crankbaits working out there on a variety of baits. So check this out. And some bass are being caught on the main lake points. And use the big plastic worms and square billed crankbaits there as well. But nice crappie out at Truman. Once in a while, walleye are being caught. A few good catfish this week out at Truman as well, on the points and secondary points, on cut shad and big balls of earthworms or night crawlers. Okay, let's go out to Lake the Ozark. They're still catching cats. If you just want to go catfishing this weekend, I would go and hit the points all the way down from below the dam at Truman and just start going down the lake at Lake the Ozarks and hitting the points and secondary points. Seems like 20, 25 feet of water. You might try a little bit shallower. But cut shad is the best bait, and they're really catching some nice blues out there the last few days. Crappie fishing's changing. They're wanting to go to the fall pattern. They've been on the points and secondary points. There's still some fish on the points and secondary points around the brush. About 15 feet of water, 18 feet, jigging minnows. Some people are using crankbaits, but I'm telling you, around some of the docks, I've had better reports the last few days. The dock fishing's been good. Pitching jig and minnows or jigs around the dock ends. And if you know any docks out there that have brush piles, get out there. I know you're going to be able to catch some fish this weekend at Lake the Ozarks. And then the bass fishing's been pretty good. Swim baits, square bill crankbaits, spinner baits. Get out there and hit those points. And back into the big pockets as well. Norfork Lake, well, we've been having some reports at water temperature 79 out there this morning. By the way, Lake of the Ozarks was 77, I believe, this morning. At Norfork, they're still catching crappie out there, guys. Get out there this weekend and try those crappie, the brush piles and along the brush. About 20 feet of water, jig and minnow combination. Few walleye have been caught out there in about 30, 32 feet of water, and they've been using those little big spoons. And they've been picking up some fish on jig and a half a night crawler out there as well. Not too much to report on stripers this week out at Norfork. Well, we have some great photos coming your way. A lot of photos sent in this week. A lot of fish being caught. So stick around for this. We, first of all, do a little business here. Be sure to like and share. God bless you for doing that. And once again, thousands of viewers last week. Keep it up, guys. Keep it up. God bless you. And be sure to, you folks that do watch over on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. Kathy put it up there. Just push that button. You're subscribed. You'll never miss out on any of the fun right here on Fishing Chums. And getting a lot of photos. If you'd like to send us some photos or fishing information, just go to our email. Email us at fishingchums@gmail.com. Cold, miserable Friday. Yeah, it's going to rebound a little bit for the weekend. I think around 70s on Sunday. That might be the pick day for the weekend. But anyway, we want to thank you for being with us. Tell your friends about the big little show here. God bless you, and we'll check you next week. Kathy, roll those photos.